Yo, what up, was geht, Dicker? My name is Sanj. Today we are back with another video. Now, it's been a year, or actually a little bit over a year, since the launch of my brand, and I kind of just wanted to answer some questions that I get a ton regarding it, and I thought, what better opportunity than for me to talk about it to you guys. Firstly, I just want to say I'm immensely grateful for your support so that the brand has even lasted this long. I'm so thankful for your support, your love, your generosity, and I'm going to be answering some questions whilst also going to be talking about some pieces. How's that sound? Hope you guys enjoy this video. Don't forget to leave a like because it helps me out tremendously. I know I never ask for it at the beginning of the video, but it does help out massively. And turns out if you ask for it, you'll get it. Before we answer some of the questions, I want to talk to you guys about my latest drop, which is upcoming on the 30th of January at 6 p.m. London time, 7 p.m. Berlin time. I'm sure I'll plaster the time zones, the different time zones at least on the screen right now. And this drop is going to be consisting of two pieces, which I'm going to be showing you today. One of them is a big heavy hitter, which we've already done two previous iterations of, and finally we've come to our third. We have the cropped sweatshirt with the print on the inside of the garment in the blood orange colorway. Man, I am super excited because it's a bold, obviously the first ever iteration that we did, which is right here. The first ever iteration that we did was a super bold color, and I'm glad that we're kind of going back towards the colorful takes. We have this washed blood orange with this print right in the middle. Huge print, if I may say so myself, in a more subtle, almost tonal color, so that it's striking but not in your face as the previous prints that we did, which is quite contrasty. Now this is the Bharatanatyam piece, which is a form of dance. It's so fucking awesome. As usual, I only want to give you guys the main theme of it, and then I hope that you guys go on to do your research yourself, but I'll be sure to leave links to some videos in the description box down below. But that print is very much inspired from some of the poses that they strike mid-dance. I'm a huge fan of the dance as it is, and as usual with every single cropped sweatshirt, there's a bit of my culture that I wish to share with the world, and hope you guys can discover something new. You might like it, you might not like it, but this is the cropped sweatshirt. Now this is a size medium, and much like every other cropped sweatshirt, on the inside you have the print, and on the correct side, which in our case is the inside, you have a fresh and clean sweatshirt with no print to be seen. So right here, I love the washing that we managed to get with this piece. It's so sick and subtle, and really an easy color to wear. Now, because of the reverse nature of the item, I didn't want any labels on the garment itself. Even the main SANGIEV label has actually only been stitched on the top two, and that is for the purpose that it should be removed. Personally, I like to remove the labels of my garments. It's up to you whether you wish to keep it as a flex or not, but if you're gonna wear it on both sides, you don't want people to be like, hey, why is there a label on the back of your, so just remove it. And we have all the information that you would normally get on the inside label on this little piece of fabric right here. Lovely little illustration from the boy Plested, and then some of the more basic sort of wash instructions where it's made. That is piece numero uno. This is going to be retailing for £150, January the 30th, 7 p.m. Berlin time. Boom skis. With that being said, we are going to move to our second piece, one that I am so buzzing, and I've actually kind of given you guys a glimpse of in the previous vlogs, so that you all should know what it is. But it is the hand-dyed cargos in our sort of green, military green colorway. Again, another iteration of a colorway that we released in the past. First iteration was the hand-dyed cargos in the white and orange. We decided to bring it in a more wearable color with the green hues, and we tweaked the leg a bit, because although I enjoyed the silhouette of the first one, I much prefer the silhouette on this one. It's much wider, it sits better with boots, it also sits better with sneakers, it's baggy, it's huge. I love it, I love it, I love it, I love it. You're gonna see pieces from SANGIEV that are more on the slim side, like the Russian prison tattoo trousers that we did in our previous drop, and then we have some more more wider offering. Now, the craziness about this piece is the wash. Every single garment has been hand dyed, and it goes through a 3-step dyeing method. We wash them to the initial color, then you strip out the colors that you wish to have the sort of bleached effect, and then you hand dye the lighter shade of green onto the blank spaces, and we have this beautiful creation, which if you've got a keen eye, you'll notice is basically a simplified take on our first ever OG reworked cargos. We decided to keep the 2 side pockets, made them 3D, absolutely massive, so you can hold on to loads of your shit. I think it just adds a really nice silhouette to the garment. And then last but certainly not the least, one of my favorite detailing is the hidden / concealed pocket that can be found right at the bottom on each of the leg. Once again, this pair of trousers features different materials, so we have a linen and a canvas, which then allows for the garment to be dyed with some irregularities, which I think looks absolutely awesome. And these will be retailing for £220. That is £220 on the 30th of January, Sunday the 30th, at 7 p.m. Berlin time, 6 p.m. London time, and every other time zone will be plastered on the screen right now. So that is that for drop 5. I don't know if I rabbled on too much. We can cut that down and edit. And now we've come to the juicy part of the video, which is to answer some of the questions that you guys have had with regards to SANGIEV, the brand. Okay, so as you can see from the different hat, this is another day, and I had finished recording, answered all the questions, but I just faffed around for far too long. So today we're gonna do it again, and this time I'm going to be straight to the point, more concise, which means that I'm going to leave out a lot of the details. However, if that's something that you wish to know more of, perhaps it needs a whole dedicated video for itself. We're going to kick things off with the most asked question, and that was, what was the initial capital, or what was the initial investment for the brand? And for me, the first drop was around 25 to 30k, and ever since then the brand has been somewhat self-sufficient. So any money that we get from, you know, these drops or whatever, we just funnel it back into the brand to create more pieces. That question alone in yesterday's take was about 5 minutes worth of an answer, and I was just what is the team at SANGIEV? Right now I would say we're insanely small. It's just 2 people. It's myself and Mike, who is my production manager. He is the right hand man in this operation and primarily handles everything that's to do with factories along with other stuff. Now under him he has his own mini team, but within SANGIEV I would say it's myself, Mike, and obviously we work with a wider network of people, but currently they're not in-house. So we have a fulfillment center based in Dortmund, Germany. We have our team of accountants which handle all the financial end of things. We have a website designer. Currently, one thing I'm slacking on is producing content for SANGIEV. So I'm actually looking out for like some creative agencies to do some really cool and creative work, especially when it comes to imagery and videography for the brand. So that's something that we're currently working on with someone. So it's just dotted and sort of outsourced for the majority of it. But the prime team is myself and Mike. Another group of questions that I got asked a lot were along the lines of art versus business. When do you make stuff for yourself versus when do you make stuff knowing that it's going to sell? And to be honest with you, that's one of the things that I'm lacking at. I want to make stuff that I love and that I enjoy wearing. And I know that my taste isn't exactly everyone's cup of tea. Now, don't get me wrong, I know that there's a few thousands of you watching this that appreciate my style, but I know that it's not for the wider market. And that's something that I accepted and realized a very long time ago. But I only make pieces with art in mind. I think that's such a big word, because when I think of fashion as an art, I think of all the avant-garde artists that make some crazy pieces. We're not there yet, hopefully one day, but we're not there yet. So a lot of our pieces are driven by business, because at the end of the day, for me and for many others, fashion is a business. So a lot of the pieces I make, I love for myself, and then I'm like, will people fuck with it? And there are some pieces that for example, take this one. I've made this piece, I love it, but then I was like, will people fuck with it? So it's a pair of the flared jeans that I've worked on, but this time we've got this white paneling. So it does this brown into white, and you won't be able to see it because of the super bright colors, but there's an embroidery detail. The same knee embroidery that can be found on the other jeans is printed all over in the white section. Embroidered all over in the white section. I think they're cool. I didn't know that they were going to do well in terms of sale. Then I put them on, and this is my way of finding out sometimes the whole art versus business, and I'm so grateful for the platform that I have. I'm able to almost real time test the pieces. So I wore this, people loved it, and I was like, okay, cool. Well, let's just run with it. Like, I think they're cool and I love them. I just didn't know that people would fuck with it. But they do apparently. So, winner, winner, chicken dinner. I guess art versus business. Does that answer the question, or do I just fluff around? Make what you want, have fun. If it sells, great. If it doesn't, bin it and move on to the next idea. And yeah. Hopefully that answers the question. What's the process of manufacturing? Various methods. Sometimes I will draw out a piece, send that to Mike. He will then get his person to do a tech pack. That way we have a technical illustration of the garment featuring all the details like pocket detailing, the lining, etc, etc. Then usually when I send him a drawing, I will have like a pattern that I wish to have on, or a particular fabric that I wish to have on, and then we'll go source that, try and make it. That is one way to do it. Another way to do it is actually for me to make the garment, send pictures of it, or send the garment itself to Mike. Again, he does the whole technical side of things, illustrations, We send my sample and the tech pack to the factory and we say, hey, can you make this? Now, this is one of the benefits of me being sort of trained and having learned how to sew garments. So that actually also answers another question which I got asked, which was, how did CSM help with regards to making your own clothing? The fact that I'm able to make my own sample, should I need to do so? The fact that I, understand construction, it makes Mike's life a lot easier, at least I'd like to think so. And also we're able to try some wilder pieces with some wilder constructions, which is also a very big fun part of it. So that was the CSM question within the process of the manufacturing question. And numero tres, if I find some vintage pieces that I want to pull some inspiration from, I'll just literally snap a picture or send that vintage piece and be like, here's what I like about it. Can we take those components and then we'll modify it and tweak it. Then it follows that same process of send it to Mike, send it to the factories. All three of those situations, they will send me a sample, we work on the samples, we tweak what we like, what we don't like, and then we send it back, and then it's just a sample. Final piece, good to go, drop the money, production is underway, and it can take anywhere between 2, 3, 4, 5 months to get a very specific piece out. But that, ladies and gentlemen, is the process of manufacturing. Show us some of your L's. Now I think he means just bad designs, we don't really do, so I don't know what the fuck I'm joking. Plenty. Well, a fair amount. In fact, let me whiz through. I wouldn't call them L's, I would just call them a work in progress. We have a jacket that I thought looked so sick. We used incredible Japanese nylon fabric, which was so expensive. Then the jacket turned out like a Deliveroo jacket, I don't know why it didn't strike me when we were designing it, but yeah, man, I'm gonna show you a non-body look of it as well. I think the cut is dope. I just think we need to tweak it a tiny bit and make it a bit more SANGIEV, I guess. But this would be one of the L's, considering how expensive it was, how much time it took, and the fact that it was just like, we're gonna bin that, we're not actually going through with production. We have this banger, which looks good on camera, but I don't know, man. In real life, first of all, straight away, well, not straight away, it took me a while. This piece was actually inspired by some vintage racer jackets and Letterman jackets. The colorway was inspired by the cigarette boxes, the soft cigarette boxes, which is what we made scarf number 2 out of. It wasn't until the second sample I was like, hold on, this jacket is already out there. It's the Celine jacket. And so I just had to bin it. I was like, no, we're not doing that. Do you find it hard to stand out in between all these new brands popping up? No, not really, to be honest with you. Like, it's so easy to compare yourself to others. And I speak to a lot of my peers. We're very open about, our numbers and all that sort of stuff. And sometimes I'm just fucking flabbergasted in a very good way. I'm like, yo, you are fucking killing it. And sometimes I know what it takes to be killing it to the same extent as those guys, but it would require me to do things differently to what I'd like to do, and that's when it's like, nah, I'm actually happy with the way that I do things. I know that hopefully in the long run this will be rewarded. So no, it's not hard for me to stand out. Like, the aim isn't to stand out. I just want to create a world that I love, make the pieces in said world, and invite you guys all in. And that's the aim of the game. If it works, it works. If it doesn't, then hey, at least we tried. And that is going to conclude this video. If you have made it this far, then I wish to say a massive thank you. And since thank yous are not enough anymore, well, it's always been enough, but I'd like to give back. Leave a comment in the description box down below and end said comment with your Instagram handle. I will pick a winner to send a cropped sweatshirt to in your desired size. Although, let's be honest, some of the people who have come this far, they'll just see other comments with the Instagram handle and they'll just throw it on themselves. If you wish to follow me on my social media, it's all right here, SANGIEV, that is for my Twitter and Instagram. Don't forget to leave a like, a thumbs up, because it helps me out tremendously. Comment, share, subscribe, do all that other jazz. See you on the 30th of January at 6 p.m. London time, 7 p.m. Berlin time for these 2 bangers. Have a wonderful day. Take care. Peace. I know I said wonderful instead of beautiful. That's how much I mean it.